I want to introduce a new term because a lot of confusion. We've been talking about supplement for years, and supplement we associate with putting in the compost. And what happens is growers start then talking about, okay, right, we're putting supplement in the compost, supplement in the casing, and the whole thing creates some confusion. So we're actually going to create a new name for what we're doing in the casing layer, and that's to call these products complements. And the reason we chose that name is we just looked in a dictionary to find the best thing to explain what we're doing. If you look at the Oxford Dictionary there, the definition of a complement is to contribute extra features to someone or something in such a way as to improve or emphasize their qualities, to add or make complete. So we believe this is a very good description of what we're doing. So we're going to start to use this expression more and more. Should we use the microliquid, which is our name for our casing product, alone, or with existing supplements? It can actually be used in both situations. Growers who cannot apply supplement evenly or don't have enough cooling, they can use it in their own right. It can be used in phase 2 or phase 3 systems. Big question everybody asks is there not enough nutrition already in the compost when you're using regular supplements? We've actually engaged a mushroom scientist who's done a lot of work with us over the last 2 years looking at this whole area, because we see a definite effect with what we're doing. We have scientific evidence now that there are temporary issues with availability of nutrition whilst the mushroom crop is growing, and it's probably due to the nature of the mycelium network. We have this very complex nature of all this rooting structure, this sudden demand for nutrition. The flush suddenly comes on very, very quickly, and you've got to push a lot of food up into the mushroom in a very, very short period of time. One of the things that's also very important is a lot of our customers, they're actually using both products together. They're using what they're already using, and they're using our complement products as well, because most people basically want to produce more yield and or better quality, because it's an economic thing. As you increase your yield, then you bring your unit costs down. Okay, bit of data for you to prove the effects of it. This here is a very simple table. This is what we all know already. Left-hand side is no supplement in, nothing in the casing compared to soya in the compost. This is what we're normally already doing at the moment. So what we already know is that we put supplement in the compost and we gain between 10 and 15% yield. We did a big trial to do comparisons with supplements in the compost, supplements in the casing, all simultaneously at the same time in the same trial to prove categorically what was happening. Same trial, same compost, same casing, everything all the same. This is just a variant. So instead of having soya in the compost, this is our organic gold product in the compost supplement. Only difference is with our product, our supplement product, is we have less protein in and we have a high lipid content. But at the end of the day, yields are basically the same. No difference. The only interesting differences there are with our supplement products is that when we use lipids, we always see higher piece weights in the mushrooms. Another interesting pattern we actually see with soya-based products is you always tend to see a much higher third flush. Ours we see more in 2, but then you see there's always this big surge with soya. Must be something to do with the fact that the way that the protein breaks down. That's a common pattern we see for many, many years. Okay, let's get to the interesting stuff. Soya in the compost. Now we're putting the complement in the casing. Yields going up. We see this big jump in yield. What's also very interesting as well is see this here, how at the same time as the yield is going up, the piece weights are going up on all the flushes. So we know when you see that the yield goes up and the piece weight's going up simultaneously at the same time, the weight of mushrooms is going up, something is definitely happening. Still not sure about it. Exactly the same table again, same trial that we're in here, same compost, same casing. Our supplement, organic gold in the compost, then we put the microliquid in the casing. You see it's the same pattern, yeah?
So is it just making the mushrooms heavier?
Yes, you're gaining yield by having, well, some of it's actually more mushrooms, but basically, yeah, you're getting basically heavier mushrooms. We're increasing the yield. So something synergistically is happening when we combine the two things. Conclusions, two supplements in two zones seems to be the key to unlock more potential from the compost. And this potential is coming from yield and from piece weight. And this piece weight is very important, yeah, because, you know, it's no good just increasing the yield if it ruins the quality. We want to be able to have more yield and better quality at the same time. A few important points. If you change one thing, say for example by adding our complement in to the casing, all your technology and techniques has to change thereafter. It's like with anything that you do in mushrooms, yes? You know why you can't do exactly the same as you do before. So we spend a lot of time now with growers guiding them through the process to make subtle changes in what they do when they put both things in together. Also, it's not just about nutrition and putting food in. Water is fundamental for nutrition uptake. It's the mechanism which the nutrition travels, yes? So as we increase nutrition, we've also got to increase the water to aid its transfer. That's very, very important. We've had classic examples where somebody will get a higher first flush, for example, by adding in the complement. But then, because they keep their watering pattern the same, they hadn't put more water in, although they've had more mushrooms go out the first flush, then they end up being shorter water for the second flush, and they lose, say they gain 10% on the first flush, by the end of the second flush, they're only back to maybe 5 or 6% gain. So, more mushrooms coming out, you've got to put more water in. Your structure of your mycelium in the casing is very, very important as well. If you've got small mycelium tubes, you've got low water capacity and movement, and that affects the nutrient uptake, and that's something that Mark's going to pick up on a bit later, yeah? So there are challenges for us, yes? We're in a biological system, we've got air and water sharing the same zones in the casing, so we've got to create a balance. Any questions? Certainly, what we are adding with the complement is definitely a nutrition source, and it's obviously very easily available. The mycelium is able to take it up very quickly and very easily, and you'll see a slide in a little bit which will actually show where we've actually proved that the uptake now can be as little as 3 days. We typically have between 3 and 4 replications. Yeah. A lot of the work we do as well, you have 2 levels of tests. Yeah, you have tests where you do purely scientific work, which is always with a lot of replications, and then the other type of work you have is practical work where you're doing comparisons, and we always do that with less replications. They're on trays, little trays.
And you're using plastic every time when
Yes.
you're doing these products?
Yes, yeah, we use plastic every time, yeah. Yeah, because the other thing is when you're doing trials on a smaller scale, because you want to preserve the activity in the compost, you've got to use the plastic. In our case, in farms, that's normally the case. Exactly as you say, you'd normally have maybe 2 days watering. And what growers are trying to do now is they'll try and get the watering in a shorter period of time, so they can have the plastic on for as long as possible. If they can get a minimum of 2 days, then that's ideal, yes? Some people are even getting 3 days even. But it depends on your cycle, and some people air on day 5, some people air on day 6 and day 7. Some people put a lot of water in the beginning, some people put less water in the beginning. So, but yeah, basically the bottom line is the longer we can leave it on for, the better the effect.